Christmas. In fact, this was supposed to be a Christmas video at one point. The Spy Kids franchise is a series of movies that have been near and dear to me. I watched them when I was a little shit, and now I'm gonna reflect on it now that I'm a slightly bigger shit. I might as well go over some of the backstory in this first video, so strap in and prepare for some exposition! Robert Rodriguez, the brain behind Spy Kids, is a god among filmmakers. He seemingly started out with nothing, with only $7,000 for his first mainstream movie, El Mariachi, which then proceeded to gross over $2 million at the box office. What?
And the bass keeps running.
What?
Running and running and running and running and running and running.
The video was terrible. So, what's it been, like a year plus since my last review? What have I been up to? Two things! Work and school! Work and school have kind of been the forefront of what I've been focusing on right now, so hence the really low effort, short, shitty videos. I'm gonna try on focusing on making higher quality, longer videos now. And since I have this camera now too, that means I can also make editing a little bit easier so I don't have to fill up time with a bunch of useless stock photos and everything. And I can just show my stupid face mouth flapping all the time. So yeah, that April Fool's video that I released, that was the original opening for this video. I kind of repurposed it for an April Fool's video. I probably got you though, didn't I? Because I'm a big goofster. But I'll try and redo it by regurgitating the stuff I know off the top of my head. Spy Kids is a action-adventure comedy movie for kids released in 2001 by Robert Rodriguez. Robert Rodriguez is mostly known for directing Sin City, making the Machete movies, and yes, he is friends with Quentin Tarantino. First Spy Kids movie did very, very successfully, hence Spy Kids 2 coming out, which also did very successfully, hence Spy Kids 3 coming out, which did...
I'll use telepathy. We might be close enough that it'll work. Carmen, can you hear me?
Am I insane? Completely.
less successfully, critically wise, hence Spy Kids 4 coming out, which was dumped onto Netflix. That's the only place that I've ever seen it on. It's got Joel McHale in it. I know that. I think there's a talking dog in it too. Something with a baby as well. I'm gonna try and make it through the other Spy Kids videos if I can. If I can't, don't be surprised if they don't come out. I'm telling you right now, don't get your hopes up high. So yeah, I don't want to delay anymore for this, so here it is. Finally, for the 5 people that have been waiting for it, here is the Spy Kids review. So the movie starts off with a whooshy shot of a cliffside, and we pan into the window of a house. This is Carmen, she's serious. This is Junie, he's a dingus. Together, they're comic foils. The kid's mom tells them a story of 2 spies. They gotta kill each other, but they end up getting married instead. The wedding gets ambushed, a guy tackles a cake, and another guy gets dick punched in the head. It's all very riveting. They escape in their heart-shaped parachutes, I assume have sex in some sort of offshore safe house, and have the world's most confused and scared-looking baby. Oh shit! It turns out the people in the story who coincidentally look the same as the parents were the parents all along! And they're still spies! With very confusing computers. Also, a chair on a dolly system so she can literally slide into the DMs. Wouldn't that be expensive to have installed? Wouldn't people trip over it? Why am I looking deeply into this? This is Spy Kids. Jesus, these kids have a fucking jungle gym in their house. Carmen calls Junie a pussy boy and Junie attempts murder. That's the end of the fucking scene. So Junie drops a shitload of acid inside the car and starts watching the national news. And he starts watching his favorite show, Floop's Fooglies, on his Nintendo Switch.
Mommy's mimicking me! Mommy's mimicking me!
Maybe Junie didn't take the bad acid. And maybe I did. Oh god. Oh god. Oh! So this kid starts bullying Junie when we get to school, and then we cut to his dad completely endorsing this type of behavior. What is this? Daddy-O-5?
He's not making it.
So Antonio Banderas throws a man through a window, and he shows his son how to stand up for himself. Junie starts making new friends and becomes one of the most popular kids at school. At his school graduation, Junie thanks his dad on stage at the podium, as the crowd has a standing ovation while listening to his speech. Nah, he just takes it like a little bitch. We then fly to a castle designed by the guys at Bad Dragon Dildos. Make sure to visit baddragon.com for all your dildo needs. baddragon.com. Make all your fantasies come true. Turns out Floop is being funded by ISIS. I mean Robert Patrick, to make an army. Floop blew all of his funding on literal degenerates and these things called thumb-thumbs. Mr. T-1000 over here gets fucked by this kid, and Floop unveils his grand scheme. Making lollydolls. Making robot children. Man, this guy seems real interested in the president's daughter.
The president's daughter?
I don't like the message of that wink. So Antonio Banderas and Lady are pulled back into the spy game and gotta go find some missing agents. Also, Cheech is their uncle. Now I know where Junie got that bad acid from. The parents end up getting caught and their house ends up getting invaded by Thumbos. Cheech reveals his deep, dark secret.
The first of which is, I'm not your uncle.
At least we know who is.
Who is it?
It's your uncle!
Cheech ends up getting fingered, and they gotta leave him behind in order to get to the family safe house in their yellow submarine, and end up getting chased by boats that came right the fuck out of nowhere. The parents get trapped in Floop's BDSM room, but they end up escaping. After some hijinks involving a glass floor, they end up hiding in a virtual room instead of going either left or right. This turns out not to be the best of ideas. Flimbo has a dinner of Nickelodeon slime with them, and shows Cheech getting an all-new type of CIA torture. They end up getting captured again, meaning that this entire scene was completely pointless. Before I continue, I just want to say a couple things about the set design of this movie. This movie has some really crazy set design that, in my opinion, works really well with the subject matter. Some people might complain that the scenery takes away from the actors, which I do agree with to a certain extent, but this movie is about spies that are kids. It's like a Saturday morning cartoon. I think the scenery is just creative and it looks colorful and cool for the kiddies. We head back to the kids at the safe house, fucking around with some of the spy gear that they found. The so-called head leader of the OSS, called Mrs. Grudenko, comes to see how the kiddies are doing. She ends up finding the third brain, a necessary part to create Floop's child soldier army. We have a predictable reveal of the supposed leader of the OSS being a bad guy, which leads to a jetpack chase. After Carmen retrieves the third brain and defies the laws of physics by catching up to another guy on a jetpack, all going at the same speed, they throw off the goons by making friends with some very friendly people. After Floop has the nervous breakdown in the Oculus Drive, his second-hand minion makes some more lollybots to hunt down the kids. The robots find the kids in a park because of a tracking device planted inside of the bracelet Grudenko gave Carmen. And after giving Junie permanent brain damage and Carmen a concussion, you first punched metal, which would probably break your hand if you hit hard enough, and then you headbutted metal. You headbutted metal, thinking that if you did it, it would do something different. They take the brain away from Junie and fly off. The kids did take one of those robots' dog tags and see that it all points to Floop. Why would you put obvious labeling on something that made the people that want to find you? Was Flingus over here so proud of his work that he was like, oh, I'm gonna label my killer deathbots with Floop Industries, so people know where to go if they want to get killer deathbots? This isn't even a problem with this movie alone. It happens in so many other movies, like that property of Peter Parker shit in the first Amazing Spider-Man, for example. It's just a stupid, nonsensical cliche that's only purpose is to move the story along. I don't know, it just annoys me or something. I'll fucking get back to the movie or something. So after the brain is secured, we get the amazing twist of Minion taking over the operation and locks Flan inside his dungeon, virtual room. We get some exposition from Antonio Banderas about the third brain being the ultimate artificial intelligence, and how he busted a nut to save the third brain. Also, Mike Judge is in this movie. He's Donegan, and I didn't know it was him until I looked at the Spy Kids page on Wikipedia. I'm now going to play a funny clip from King of the Hill, so some sort of punchline is said, and this tangent is not completely meaningless.
I feel very strange lately. Last night, I dreamt we had 20 children.
Peggy, you know I can't give you more children. I have a narrow urethra.
The kids go to meet Machete. Machete. The kids go to meet Machete, Antonio Banderas' brother in the Spy Kids universe and the star of his own movie franchise, directed by who else but Robert Rodriguez. The kids say that they need his help, but Machete says he doesn't want to help because he's sick and tired of dealing with his brother's shit. The kids then perform many acts of theft by stealing a bunch of shit from him and hijacking a plane, but good old Machete seems alright with it. Those crazy kids. The plane shits out on them and they end up ejecting right outside of Flumbagui's castle. This scene would be of no note except for the best line delivered in the movie.
You did that on purpose, you kamikaze!
The kids go diving with their convenient scuba gear, and they almost get eaten by a shark because Junie didn't take a piss break before they left.
People joke funny.
They get into the castle and do some stealthing around it and eventually get separated because of reasons. I'm pretty sure Carmen just committed suicide. So Junie makes the same mistake as his parents and heads into the virtual room, even though they show Junie looking 2 other ways to escape, and he says, I hope this leads into the dungeon, even though there are 2 signs right in front of him that say virtual room. So Junie and... oh my god. This running joke is getting stale. I don't have the fucking brain power to make any more ways to say Floop. What's his full name anyway? Fegan? Fucking Fegan? Okay, let's go with that for the rest of the video. Fegan, that's fine. So Junie and Fegan have a little chit-chat, and Junie talks about how much he loves his show. We head back to Antonio Banderas as he's strapped into the Fugalizer. Yes, that's what it's called. Banderas talks about how Minion was a part of the OSS and the Third Brain Project, but he was kicked out because he was putting his own twisted ideas into the Third Brain. He turns Banderas into an abomination, Junie breaks Fegan out of the virtual room, and everybody reunites. Antonio Banderas is turned back to normal, making the torture scene with him completely pointless, except for exposition. They lure a Minion into the Fugalizer room and turn him into an abomination. They then go into the computer room and Fegan starts freaking out about how they're gonna stop the lollibots. Carmen says
Just reprogram it.
That would take weeks.
Just 2 words.
and that immediately gives Fegan the solution to the problem. Why does Carmen know the solution to reprogramming hundreds of robots? Because plot convenience, that's why. Well, I mean, they do say she's a master hacker in Spy Kids 3. I wonder if I could become a master hacker. Damn, they're on to it. So Junie and Carmen have a rematch with Robot Junie and Carmen while Antonio Banderas and wife escape. They trap them in a corner with some silly string and go meet up with their parents in the main room while all the other robots are heading there as well. I wonder how many copies of The President's Daughter there are. So it all looks like they're about to get fucked by robots. Machete comes, but he can't do anything, so it's basically like group suicide. But Pfft implements the code into the robots, and the kids start playing with the bad guys instead. Machete reunites with Antonio Banderas. Pfft thanks Junie for turning him around, and the President of the United States, who's named Devlin and played by George fucking Clooney, calls the kids in to go on a mission. Cut to black, credits! I finished it! So, Spy Kids. What did old man Waffle have to think about it? Well, first and foremost, I did enjoy the movie. Even looking past all the nostalgia and stuff I have for it, I still enjoyed it thoroughly as a film. For me, one of the things that I really enjoyed about it is just the dynamic nature of the movie, especially with shots. There are a lot of, kids' movies that come out now that it's just really boring when it comes to shots. They aren't really dynamic. Safe. Safe is a good word to say. Something that this movie does, though, is that it breaks past those sort of conventions with kids' films, and shots are dynamic. They get some really interesting places for shots in this movie. Another thing that I'd like to talk about is just the dedication of Robert Rodriguez. This is something that he has throughout a lot of his projects, but he tends to do so many things at once that it's really surprising the things that he does. He really does, he directs, he edits, he does special effects. Sometimes he actually does music too, and I feel like that gives a more auteur feeling to the film. It really does feel like it's all is his vision and it's how he wanted the movie. Now, Robert Rodriguez didn't do everything in this movie. That's kind of obvious. And I'd like to just give props to people that did art, people that did props, and again, people that did set design on this movie, because it all looks really, really good. It's colorful, it's weird, it's curvy, and it really gives the movie an image, which is important. Just, it reminds me of something that Bo Welch would do. Bo Welch did a lot of, sets for Tim Burton movies, and it really does look like something Bo Welch would do, although he had no involvement with this movie. As for stuff like writing in this movie, I'd say things are really top-notch. It's really tight. There's no real points of slowdown in the movie. Things get done, things keep going, which is good, especially for kids' movies. Because kids' movies, kids are dumb, kids are stupid, kids are dumb and stupid. I guess acting was alright. Kid actors usually aren't very good. These kid actors, though, they're pretty good. They know how to deliver lines. Some of them even know comedic timing. Other actors, though, I know that in the review I talked about how there were some scenes that ended up being completely pointless, some plot points ended up being pointless, some things didn't make sense, some things kind of got pulled out of nowhere, and yes, those things are apparent in the movie, but mostly that's just kind of looking at it and kind of nitpicking those things. Overall, I would have to say I would give the movie about a 7.5 out of 10. Well, after 2 years of blue balling, I finally did it. The Spy Kids review. What else am I gonna do with my time? To all the homies that made it through this far, thanks for watching the video. I made a couple other reviews like this. Give them a watch. I put in a lot of effort I put a lot of effort in them, so you should probably watch them, although some of them aren't very good, and I don't show my face in them. For the other Spy Kids reviews, I don't know how long it's going to be till I make them. Who knows? They might not even come out. Highly possible, because I'm lazy. So, if they do come out, that's cool, but I'm going to tell you right now, don't get your hopes up, because I'm sure not to deliver. I can't think of anything to end for this video, so, I'm just gonna show a video of Junie hitting himself in the head again.